outside of the theater, I saw Grand Budapest Hotel, which I thought was one of Wes Anderson's best movies. I'm not a huge Wes Anderson fan, but I thought the fact that this was set in sort of a fantasy world made his whimsy more palatable than in other films. And I felt like the characters were more likable than a lot of his movies, which I feel like can come off kind of mean. So I really enjoyed it. It does have a lot of profanity and some nudity that's pretty strong, so I gave it a D. It's definitely adults only as far as content grade. And as far as regular grade, I gave it a B, because I just don't love the Wes Anderson shtick. It's not my favorite. But it's a good movie. I enjoyed it. I saw Locke with Tom Hardy, and I thought it was really pretty amazing. It's just him in a car for 84 minutes, and I was totally engaged. I thought it was just this man whose life is falling apart. I just went with it. I thought it was bold. I thought it was interesting. It was something different, something I've never seen before, and I really liked it. I thought it was really good. It has a lot of profanity, so be definitely adults only, and it's definitely a D content grade, but I gave it an A in my overall grade. I really thought it was great, and it was just so cool to see something so different. The movie Begin Again, and this is made by the same team that made Once, and because it's very similar to Once, but it's not as good as Once, and so even though I don't think it's a terrible movie, the fact that I could compare it to something very similar about an up-and-coming artist or two up-and-coming artists who are trying to get their big break, and I thought that the Keira Knightley character was kind of annoying. She acts like wanting to make money as a musician is like some horrible thing. And I thought that was kind of obnoxious. And I thought that their whole conceit of filming or recording an album in and around New York City was so laughable. They have this scene several times where supposedly they're filming in the subway, which you can get permits to play in the subway. But no, they're supposedly setting up all their equipment, all the music, they're playing, and then the cops come and are like, oh, get out of here, and they pull everything away and head off, and I'm like, that is so ridiculous. And so I guess since it was by the same people and I just didn't think it was as good as Once, I didn't think the music was as good. I didn't think it was as talented. There weren't any songs that I was, well, there was one song at the end that was good, but the rest of the songs were not nearly as good as Once. And the Mark Ruffalo character I found to be really unlikable. I thought, the very first scene is him driving his daughter, and he's drinking, and he's clearly inebriated, and that just, right off the bat, I'm not liking this character. Whereas, like, in Once, I was just rooting for them the whole time, and I was so happy that they were getting this chance. So I gave it an overall grade of C, because, like I said, if I hadn't seen Once, I probably would be like, oh, that was a pretty good movie, I liked it. And I gave it a content grade of a D. It's definitely adults only. And I saw Gone Girl, and I just watched it yesterday. I just posted my review, and I was excited to see it. I'd heard such good things, and I have not read the book, so I don't know if that makes any difference, but I didn't really care for it. I know it's unpopular opinion, but I thought it was really well directed. I thought it was really well made. I thought it was pretty good performances all throughout, but you kind of have to go with a big twist, and I just couldn't go with it. I thought it was so preposterous that somebody would have to be perfect in the execution of a particular plan, and I just thought that was ridiculous. I could not imagine that anybody could be that perfect in pulling it off, and so I just couldn't get invested in the movie because to me it seemed ridiculous. Sorry, but I realized that other people who could take that big twist, it's really hard to talk about without spoiling, but the people that could take the twist and the plot the way it goes would really love it. I did give it an overall grade of a C because I did like the commentary about the 24-hour news cycle. I liked all of the performances. I thought were all good, and I thought it was a well-made movie, so it's hard to 100% fault it. But I just thought that it tried to sell me something that I just couldn't buy. So, and I know that's probably not Fincher's fault because that's the book, I guess. I thought the ending was totally unbelievable. I just couldn't go with it, and I don't know if that's the way the book is or not, but I thought it was ridiculous. But it's definitely adults only. Once again, it's right on the edge of what I would feel comfortable seeing. It does have nudity. It has a gruesome, some gruesome gore and violence, and it has a lot of profanity. So it's not one I would recommend. Okay, I did try to see some animated films that were a little bit more difficult to find. I saw Jack and the Cuckoo Clock Heart. And this is a really beautiful movie. I wish that had been made in stop motion or using another format than CG. I think it would have been better, but I still really liked the style of it. I thought it started out really strong, and then the plot kind of goes crazy, and it kind of lost me. I was like, what is going on? Yeah, I think I'm a pretty smart person, and I lost track of what was happening. It's dubbed really poorly. One of the worst dubbings I've seen. And I think that if they were going to do it that badly, then they should have just had subtitles, because it was really bad. I thought the songs were okay, but I didn't feel like they, again, added kind of like Strange Magic. I don't feel like they really added anything to the story or told me anything new. They were good in creating tone, but I feel like you could do that with the score just as well as with the songs. So overall grade, I gave it a C. And it's kind of dark and twisted and weird. So you just have to know if your kid likes that kind of thing or it's too spooky. There's definitely some really spooky sections. There's a ghost train. It's very steampunk, and I like steampunk, and I loved, like I said, I loved the look of it. I thought it was great, but the story, I just kind of I didn't understand what was going on. And then there were other parts that were really cliched, particularly with a bully with the villain. It was so predictable. The movie that I caught this month was the movie Rango. And this was Academy Award winner. And to be honest, I didn't really care for it either. I thought it looked really unpleasant. I thought the characters, I just didn't get the whole visual style. I thought it took forever to get the story going. It didn't really have a story for a long time. It was just like one-liners, and I guess I haven't seen a lot of Western movies, so a lot of what it was spoofing I didn't really get. And then finally, once they get on the hunt for the water, probably halfway through the movie, I felt like it started to get a little bit of momentum. But there are tons of characters, and I had a hard time telling who was the villain, what was going on. A lot of people love it, but I didn't really like this aesthetic of it, style of it, and I didn't really think it was funny or interesting, and I didn't think it had a good story. Yeah, I really did not like it. I gave it a D+. Sorry. And then the last movie that I saw is definitely a hidden gem. Like I said, I'm trying to see the more obscure movies, particularly from 2014. And this is called Minuscule, The Valley of the Lost Ants. This was another CG movie, but it looks almost like stop motion at certain points. It has no dialogue. It reminded me a lot of WALL-E in a certain way. It's about an ant and a ladybug who find this picnic that has been left by humans at the beginning of the movie, and they have this thing of sugar that they're trying to take to their anthill. And they have all different kinds of obstacles that they have to face, and it's really like well done and it's exciting. And then like about halfway through the movie, it gets to be this like epic battle, and I really thought it was clever the way that they use things like toothpicks and just the way that they create battle things from things that for armor and different things from things an ant would actually have. And there's the red ants that are the bad guys, and there's the black ants that are the good guys, and I was really entertained by it. It's definitely one worth searching out. It, like I said, doesn't have any dialogue, but I think kids will love it because kids don't care about the dialogue. I'm talking little kids. who can't read, you know, they don't care as much about the dialogue. They just want the cute characters and the story. And I think that it has enough with the battle scenes and with the action and everything that I think it'll also entertain older kids. I really liked it. I thought it was beautiful. What they do is they have the animated characters all in real world settings. So it's actual photography of the south of France. So there's an actual river, there's an actual valley that these it's kind of like Dinosaur in that way, but a million billion times better. And I was engaged. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. And you really feel for these characters, kind of like WALL-E in that way, that you really feel for these characters even though they don't have any dialogue. So yeah, that is all of them. And let me know what you think. Which ones I'm sure there's some that I just said that you disagree with. I will put all the links for all the reviews of all those movies in the description section, so make sure to check those out if you want to learn more about why I did or didn't like a movie. I try to go into as much detail as I can, and so that is that. So please put your comments down below, let me know, and thanks so much for checking out my video, and please subscribe to my channel. Thanks. Bye.